Day number 2. Already I'm getting restless, and it's only been 2 days. Does not look like it at all on the screen here. You'll see me just looking at my notes, kind of looking things over. I tend to film these videos when I'm kind of first at the keyboard here in the morning, and what I'll do is kind of sit there and look at everything, kind of come up with an idea of what I'm trying to do, and then I get to work. So what you're seeing in the video here is just me, for the most part, just looking at my game plan, coming up with some ideas here for how I'm going to approach this process. And then once this camera's off, once this video's done, I'm at work grinding it out. What I ended up doing actually was a little bit of the paperwork stuff yesterday evening when I got home, and then I started moving into some of the other things on the list, specifically looking at cover design. I didn't really want to tackle that yet. I felt like cover design was not going to be nearly as important until I figured out A, what I want to do for book dimensions, and then B, until I had taken care of some of the other paperwork already. For those that are curious, the paperwork portion and why I have something like a couple spaces down, you'll notice I have the word logo written there. Reason why is as I'm creating an LLC for basically a publishing house. It's basically what it is. Just something to kind of keep my money assets from this separate from my personal ones. And so if you're wondering, and I didn't explain this enough in the prior videos, why it's like paperwork and financials and all that stuff, that's what it is. It's in regards to the LLC. And so my thinking is I need to first get that stuff done first and then take care of the book dimensions and creating the logo and that whole deal. Book cover, all that stuff, that should come in my mind at least second to getting the paperwork for this stuff done first. And so that's what I'm working on right now, and what I did last evening. But I'm still kind of in the planning stage. I haven't taken a whole lot of action on this yet, so I haven't highlighted it. It's been just preliminary stuff, just thinking it over, coming up with an idea. But I'm already ready to jump in. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of waiting here, so I'm probably going to jump in, probably take care of the paperwork thing tomorrow. I'm going to dive right in and just start doing it. If you've noticed anything about me in these videos, I tend to talk about planning out things like a week in advance, saying like, oh, it's going to take me like a week to get this thing done. It'll take me several days to get this thing done. And what happens is I become very obsessive. I become very single-minded. And what ends up happening is I spend, a bunch of time before work, go to work, I come home that evening, spend a bunch of time, wake up the next morning, spend a bunch of time, and within like 36, 48 hours, what I thought was going to take me a full week, I've pretty much tackled. I'm very, very good at overestimating how long it's going to take me to do things. I never really thought about that before. I never really considered that, but it turns out to be the truth. So I guess take that as it is. So tomorrow we'll get on to the paperwork. Tomorrow we'll start hitting, I guess, that boring part of the process. It's not a lot. It's actually really not a lot. And I've kind of structured these goals in sort of an order of easiest to hardest, at least what I can do now. So I imagine the paperwork tomorrow, and that'll be looking at probably book cover designs the rest of the week until the paperwork comes back in. Is what it is. It's not going to... The biggest holdup I think in this process is actually going to be waiting for things to happen. So waiting for paperwork to get approved and get back as far as the LLC goes. Waiting for my book to get back from my editor so I can make the adjustments. A lot of the waiting, that's going to be the biggest holdup in this whole process, is waiting for other people. This is not something you can do on your own, unfortunately. It's not like writing a novel where you can do it all yourself. Like, these things do require a certain amount of reliance on other people to get done, and there's a bureaucracy to it. So with that, it's going to take a little bit of time. Hopefully not too much. And in the meantime, I've gotta start doing a little bit more studying. And when I'm talking about studying, I'm not talking about necessarily looking at craft anymore. I need to start reading more books on this subject, on the subject of even something as much as like marketing and promotion, because I have no idea how to market a book. I worked in sales for a lot of years. I can sell items that are of great necessity. Like I can sell, if there's a problem, and there's a product that's a solution, I can sell the item that is a solution to someone's problem. Books, it's very difficult because it's basically a form of entertainment. It's an escapism. That's hard. That for me at least is very, very hard to market. It's marketing programs and services that solve a problem that's very, very direct. That's not, boredom or entertainment. Things that have more practical applications to them. Much easier for me to sell than things I've experience with. But as far as like marketing on this side of it, it's going to be tough. So I have to do a little bit of work as well, looking into that, seeing how to do that. Ultimately, I'm not as concerned about selling a ton of copies of this book. It's more getting it out there and having, at least at this point, I care more about getting the story out here and having the few that actually watch this channel check it out. This feels as much kind of as me finally giving those who have sort of offered their time these past, almost 18 months now of watching me. They've kind of given their time and their nice, thoughtful comments and all that stuff a chance to say, hey, here's kind of what you're waiting for. Me kind of giving something back in a sense. But it is important to sell. It is important to get some copies here. You do want to sort of self-promote. You don't necessarily want to just put a book out and maybe get 24 copies sold. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to get more sold, and it is more beneficial, I think, in the long run for obviously the author. The more money you can make off your books, the more you can do this, right? Perhaps even take another sabbatical. Who knows if I get that lucky. But for now, that's what we're all about. That's what we're doing here. Is we're planning this stuff out, and as you can tell by this video, my thoughts are a bit disjointed. They're kind of everywhere right now. This is a whole different game, and when I'm in a game that I don't know how to play, when I'm in an environment that's not quite familiar, my mind starts ticking a little bit. I start overthinking things. My mind it starts jumping around. So let's try and keep my sanity as well throughout this whole process. But with that, I'll wrap it up here. I will see you all tomorrow, and thank you again for watching this video.